With companies like Blue Origin, SpaceX and Virgin Galactic competing with each other to win the new space race along with NASA and China's space program, we're looking at reigniting interest in space travel from different private organizations and the government-funded agencies. And this is very exciting news for people who are excited about space exploration. On August 26, 2021, Blue Origins launched New Shepard to test moon landing tech, and today we discuss everything you should know about this launch. Hello there and welcome back to the Space Tech. Before we begin, consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this, and while you're at it, turn on the post notifications so you never miss out on any of our future uploads. Drop a like for the video if you are excited about the future of space travel. The commercial space industry is stepping up its game, with companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic continually trying to improve space tourism by increasing the economies of scale and creating a viable space economy. The decentralization that is happening with the space industry also means that private individuals will now be able to take a greater risk than something that can be tolerated by government-employed astronauts. Developing a stable economy based on space will also depend on government regulations and support from the government. Government should also clarify what needs to be done for the rights over limited resources such as water on Mars, ice on the Moon, and similar resources. Space exploration projects will also help in removing the geographic boundaries that we created. Now, for those of you who don't know, Blue Origin is a private spaceflight company that was founded way back in 2000 by Jeff Bezos, who also happens to be the founder and former CEO of Amazon.com. Blue Origin is an American aerospace manufacturer and spaceflight company that is headquartered in Kent, Washington, with the current CEO of Blue Origins being Bob Smith. The space industry is known to be an industry that requires a lot of capital, and Blue Origins is looking forward to changing all of that by facilitating space travel to protect the Earth and travel to space safely, reliably, and most importantly, keeping affordability in mind. Blue Origin used to be a secretive research company, but now the company has been launching rocket systems with more advanced plans to take commercial payloads and space tourists into space. On August 26, 2021, we had Blue Origin with the New Shepard making its flight once again. The spacecraft is named after Alan Shepard, who happens to be the first American to go to space. New Shepard is a reusable suborbital rocket system designed to take astronauts and research payloads past the internationally recognized boundary of space, which happens to be called the Kármán line. The company's reusable rockets once again made a journey into space that carried a variety of scientific experiments and also some pointer artwork, and from suborbital space, this happens to be the first uncrewed flight for Blue Origin since July 2021, when the company's founder Jeff Bezos and 3 other people were launched on the first ever crewed New Shepard mission. The New Shepard was launched in Blue Origin's West Texas site after nearly an hour of delay caused by a payload readiness issue. This particular mission had a key payload from NASA that will test technologies the agency is using to develop a human landing system for future missions to the Moon. The name NS-17 launch stands for New Shepard 17 because it happens to be the 17th time Blue Origin's fully reusable suborbital rocket will be taking off. The NASA payload on board will test technologies, including a Doppler LiDAR sensor array that should help future lunar landing craft get a very detailed picture of the details of the landing zone they're targeting, and a descent landing computer that handles the processing of the sensor data. Blue Origin flew elements of this system once before, and that was in October 2020, and improvements have already been made based on the test that is integrated into this version. Blue Origin capsule also carried a number of other experiments brought by NASA and other academic institutions, including the University of Florida. The launch plan included a takeoff separation of the capsule, a controlled return powered by landing for the booster, and a parachute assigned landing for the capsule. The entire mission lasted for about 10 minutes and 38 seconds from the launch to the capsule landing. The New Shepard is dedicated to flying cargo missions, but Blue Origins will be adding another booster and capsule for crewed missions. Blue Origin is expected to launch its second crew flight by the end of this year. When it comes to the pricing of Blue Origin's flight, we don't have any information on that yet, but Bezos recently mentioned that Blue Origin had sold nearly $100 million worth of tickets for future passenger flights. You might be thinking that Blue Origin is directly competing with SpaceX. However, that is not the case because Blue Origin is focusing entirely on the suborbital space tourism at the moment. And right now the company has only one competitor, and that happens to be Virgin Galactic, which conducted its first fully crewed suborbital mission recently. How recently, you may ask? Well, as recently as July 11, 2021, where billionaire Richard Branson and 5 other crewmates briefly launched into space for the first fully crewed spaceflight of Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 spaceplane. For Richard Branson, it was the experience of a lifetime, according to what he said during a live broadcast of the flight. Virgin Galactic is selling their tickets for $450,000. Sure, space missions are really exciting, but there is another angle to space missions that we often forget to care about. We are completely focused on transitioning away from fossil fuels, and space missions like these can be hard on the environment because most rocket launches result in the release of planet-warming carbon dioxide more than many airplanes. Virgin Galactic spaceplane will rake up a carbon footprint that is comparable with flying business class across the Atlantic, and one orbital launch of SpaceX's fully reusable Starship will be emitting as much carbon dioxide as flying an airplane continuously for about 3 years. But when it comes to adding greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, it looks like Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket is among the cleanest vehicle launches that we have today. We still need to focus on climate change issues from the suborbital spacecraft, as these effects will likely increase when we have more launches like these. So you could say that rockets aren't exactly green technology, and the environmental impact of these rocket launches are still being studied. The majority of launches produce residue like water vapor, carbon dioxide, soot, and aluminium dioxide, depending on the type of fuel these rockets use. New Shepard, for example, uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen in its engine to generate thrust. So the main residue we will be looking at will be water, along with some minor combustion products and zero carbon dioxide. Water and rocket exhaust can increase the number of clouds in the atmosphere, and these can impact the upper atmospheric layers known as the mesosphere and ionosphere. Right now, we don't have so many rocket launches, so it's not a huge concern, but it is something that we need to consider moving forward with our space exploration goals. Water vapor can be a more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, so the large amount of water vapor that remains in the atmosphere will have a tendency to heat our planet. So, to sum things up, exploring our space is something humans will always be fascinated about because we love to uncover mysteries. Our evolutionary characteristic as human beings did not support us to go to space, but we are trying to go there anyway because of our drive to explore more. Space exploration projects also contributed so many different technologies that we use on a daily basis. Yes, that's right. Developing technology for exploration directly resulted in the development of many day-to-day technologies that we use and take for granted today. We are more than 7 billion in number, and the number will be increasing as we move forward, so it makes a lot of sense as to why we need to leave the Earth and find another place for human civilization to thrive, making human beings an interplanetary species. Our natural resources are also depleting, which means that space mining could actually save the entire world, especially when humans find a way to transport rare minerals and metals from other planets and then transport them to Earth. This means that we will have a huge supply of raw materials that used to be quite rare on Earth. The practical reason for space exploration is that we love exploring things, and exploring space is an opportunity not only to discover new worlds and build superior technology, but to work together for a common goal irrespective of the geographic boundaries that we set for ourselves. Exploring is a part of being a human being, and that is precisely why we need companies like Blue Origin, SpaceX, and Virgin Galactic to continue doing what they are doing by promoting space tourism, even though Jeff Bezos doesn't warrant humans to colonize on other planets like Mars, which will surely have a hostile environment. With that, we have come to the end of our video. What do you think about Blue Origin's attempt at the moon landing? Will Blue Origin be able to compete with SpaceX's Starship? Do let us know in the comment section below, because we would love to hear from you all. Consider subscribing to our channel for more content just like this one, and while you're at it, turn on the post notification so that you never miss out on any of our future uploads. That's about it for today. Catch you all in the next one.